found themselves in a hole early on with those lower start values on vault, so they are definitely looking to increase their difficulty throughout the season. You definitely want to peak closer to the end of the year with regionals and postseason, so they're saving their bodies a little bit right now and making sure that they have perfect form on these easier vaults in hopes of increasing that difficulty throughout the year.
The score was originally posted as a 9.5. Now there's that number going forward.
Absolutely. Last year, the Hornets
showing a 9.3, so we'll let you know when we get the actual update. Cloud waiting to go.
Another Yurchenko layout. That one, massive height off of the table. Small hop back on the landing, but landed with her chest perfectly up and down.
Now for UC Davis will be Shannon Sklow. 9.675 the score for Ito.
Shannon starts off her routine with a big release move. A little loose on her form throughout these skills. Again, you want to see really straight legs, extended toe point, and those handstands all the way on top of the bar. Finishing up another double layout, small step. Another great routine for the Aggies.
The official score for Couture, 9.25. And now Bella Lamidi will get her first crack at college gymnastics. SoCal native. Comes out of Waller's Gym Jam club the Hornets have had some success recruiting from. Kaylee Hansen, who's in attendance, former Waller product.
Yurchenko tuck ball for Bella. A good landing. Again, as the season continues, you want those stuck landings, chest all the way up. That vault will start from a little bit of a higher start value than the first two that we saw from the Hornets.
Cami Johnson, third up for UC Davis. .955 the score for Sklow. Going to go back to vault. Destiny Watley.
Another tuck full. She didn't quite get a good block off the table. You'll want to see her hands get to the table really quick.
Now we're jumping right back over. This is now on bars.
A great routine from Cami so far. She has amazing form. Full twisting giant right to a stuck double back.
Score came in for Bella Lamidi. It is a 9.55. We still don't have the score from McLeod turned in, so we'll try to track that one down in the meantime. back to vault. This will be Alexis Belkoff. She was the leader for the team last year on vault.
Alexis has a beautiful vault as your Yurchenko layout half. A blind landing, so very difficult to stick, but she usually does a great job. She has good body position, just a small step back. A great way for her to start off her senior year.
So we'll go now. Back to bars for UC Davis, Courtney Cunningham. Big score for Cammie Johnson for the Aggies, 9.775.
Courtney starts off her routine with a shaposh up to the high bar, right back down to the low bar with that combination. Still a little short on the handstands, finishes it up, full pirouette, double tuck. Another great landing. UC Davis is off to a great start over on bars.
Destiny Watley comes in with a 9.625. So that will be the high for the Hornets prior to Belkoff's score coming in. Now Jordan Brent, final competitor in the lineup. The Hornets will have 2 exhibitions coming.
Jordan is a very powerful gymnast on all events. You'll see it right here. Big layout full. It's an upgrade from last season. It's great to see her back doing that vault again.
The score for Alexis Belkoff. And over on bars, Courtney Cunningham a 9.725 for the Aggies.
Right now we have Sarah Little, starts off with a big ginger, release down to the low bar, just a little short on that handstand. Finishing it off, full pirouette, double tuck, little bit of a step on that landing.
Peyton Gillen, one of the freshmen in the lineup for Sacramento State, a local product, trained at Fires 2 out in Roseville.
A nice Yurchenko layout, a little funny on that landing, but she has great power. Hopefully we'll see her twist that vault as the season goes on.
Jordan Brent scored a 9.65. That was the high for Sacramento State on vault. Hornets finish at a 47.85 is their team score, and it's a tough hole to dig out of. You'd like to score at least 48 on each of the events. That puts you at a 192 minimum if you do that, and Hornets already behind it a little bit. But again, the changes in start value, like it's what the national governing body wanted to make it a little more competitive and lower down some of these start values, and a lot of the vaults starting at a 9.8 and doesn't give you a whole lot of room for error.
It does not. That chase for perfection only increases when you start a little bit lower.
Back on bars, this is Gabby Landis.
A huge release combination, Ginger right down to that bail, low to the low bar. She is such a dynamic bar worker. Goes after every skill, finishing it up here. That Arabian double front, small step on the landing, should be a big score for the Aggies.
This will be Anna Leroy, a freshman. out of Gilbert, Arizona, trained at Desert Lights.
A front handspring front, more unique vaults, but as she trains, hopefully that's a much easier way to get a 10-0 start value on vaults, as we saw with the former Hornet Clea McCartney. She was very successful with that forward vault.
So I'll wrap up the Hornets. UC Davis will have one exhibition. Over on bars will be Shanae Oishi. Aggies currently sitting at a 48.475. That number will go up with a 9.775 coming in. For Landis, and UC Davis will finish now with a 48.7 and will have a nearly full point lead over Sacramento State through one rotation.
These exhibition routines are a great way for girls to get some experience right off the bat early in the season. Big double layout to finish.
So that will conclude the first rotation. UC Davis leading Sacramento State 48.7 to 47.85. The teams will rotate or flip-flop, and they will then, Hornets will go to bars. Davis will head over to vault. We'll take a break, be back in a second. This is Hornet Gymnastics on Pluto TV.
Our score after one rotation in second place with a score of 47.85, Sacramento State. In first place with a score of 48.7, UC Davis. Portland's barbecue, all in the Cadillac, a specialty drink you have to experience. Check it out at PortReds.com. That's PortReds, proud sponsor of Sacramento State Athletics. Warm-up period. The lineups in the second rotation for UC Davis on the vault. Rachel Schulte, Kelly Nick, Gabby Landis, Alyssa Eden, Courtney Cunningham, and Tammy Johnson. For the Hornets on the bars, Alexis Belcock, Destiny Watley, Courtney Marquez, Taylor Weber, Bayla Lamidi, Jordan Brett, and Amber Cove in exhibition.
9.75 for the team score for the Aggies. The Hornets, they were led by a 9.65 from Jordan Brent, a 9.625 from Destiny Watley, and 9.6 from Alexis Belkoff. The team also counted a 9.55 from Bella Lamidi and a 9.425 from Kelly McLeod, the two freshmen. We go to rotation number 2. The Hornets will be on bars. Alexis Belkoff, Destiny Watley, Courtney Marquez, Taylor Weber, Bella Lamidi, and Jordan Brent. Amber Coates will have an exhibition. Courtney Marquez, Dallas last year, a gymnast who really 2 years ago couldn't crack the lineup. Last year, one of them that took advantage of the injuries that were presented by Sacramento State and kind of shined in her chance to get in the lineup and see what she could do.
Absolutely. Courtney really excelled, really stepped up when the Hornets needed her to, got that experience she needed, and I know the coaching staff and the team is really excited to have her back, have that leadership behind them, and she has even improved throughout the offseason and added some upgrades to her teams.
UC Davis will counter with Rachel Schulke, Kelly Hebert, Gabby Landis, Alyssa Ito, Courtney Cunningham, and Cammie Johnson. So a very experienced lineup for the Aggies on vault. And bars, one of those areas for Sacramento State. Last year they were hit hard by injuries, especially when Jackie Sampson, who was their best bar worker, was out of the lineup. And so it'll be interesting to see how the Hornets react this year. I know they feel like their depth is better on the event than what they had last season. Last year they were so dependent on Jackie when she was healthy to give them a score that they could rely on. But it seems to be this year will be much more of a team approach as there's not that one superstar.
Yeah, last year it was more of a case you usually see on balance beam. It was the team was either on or they were all off. So hopefully this year they don't have to mess around with lineups too much. They can really utilize that depth and start off strong and count on everyone's score to count.
It'll be Rachel Schulke to start for the Aggies.
Starts off with a Yurchenko layout. Good body position in the air, just a small step back on the landing.
And the Hornets will now turn to Alexis Belkoff, the senior.
Hornets starting off the first 2 events, 2 seniors to lead it off. A great approach. It's always good to have a nice solid start in that leadoff position. Alexis starts off an upgrade there, that hop. A little short on her handstands. Finishing it off, double layout. You really want to see that tight body position all the way through the air. It'll help get a nice stuck landing. A few things to improve on as the season continues.
9.35 the score for Schulke for UC Davis. Starts their lineup on bars, on vault, excuse me.
Another Yurchenko layout, this time massive height off that table. A little bit of a step back on the landing.
That was Kelly Hebert making her season debut. Hornets will now go with Destiny Watley. Sophomore, saw a lot of action last year in the lineup.
Destiny is another very powerful gymnast. You see that power, that dynamic movement through her bar routine as well. Really sharp handstands.
Scoring has been slow, to say the least, on bars between the judges. Destiny's still waiting to start her routine. I'm not sure what could be taking this long when there wasn't a whole lot of mistakes in that.
The first meet, gotta work out the kinks for everyone, the gymnasts and the judges, I suppose.
9-4-7-5 the score for A-Bears. So vault, these new scoring rules are going to make a difference. You will see some lower scores throughout the years. A-Bear had great height on that vault, but still was not rewarded with the big score with the lower start values. That vault, just a 9.75 start value this season. Belkoff's score was a 9.5. Now here is Watley.
Destiny starts off her routine pirouette with that shoot over down to the low bar, combination right back up to the high bar. Finishing it off, big dismount, full twisting double back, small hop. Great routine from Destiny.
Now we go to Gabby Landis for the Aggies.
Does a different vault than we've seen all day today. A cause approach, so a little bit sideways approach onto the table, and then that tuck full off.
Assuming a higher start value on that one.
Higher than the layout, yes. Still not quite, I'm sure, what they want all of their start values to be with those Yurchenko layout fulls.
Up next for Sacramento State will be Courtney Marquez. Marquez, now a junior, originally from Las Vegas, Nevada. Did not compete as a freshman, and we said last year broke through and was in the lineup regularly. One of the taller gymnasts you'll see, 5'6". Last year competed on bars and beam for the Hornets. Third score in for UC Davis on vault. Gabby Landis, a 9.6 from both judges. So the Aggies through 3 vaults right now, standing at a 28.425. They're high, a 9.6 of the 3. For Sacramento State, just one score in right now. It's Alexis Belkoff with a 9.5, waiting for the score for Destiny Watley, which is a 9.525.
Just those little details, handstands, toe points, keeping your legs straight. Every judge looks at it a little bit differently, so you want to make sure that no matter who you're competing in front of, you're giving them absolutely nothing to take away. Courtney now up on bars. We'll start out with a big release move right here. She warmed it up great. She gets so much height off that bar. Sometimes you just got to kick those heels up a little bit more.
So Marquez will take time to re-chalk. Long wait for Alyssa Ito. How tough is that? Although when you competed, they really didn't do this rotation where they'd wait to, where a lot of times they let both teams compete at the same time.
Yeah, the weight is a little bit of a challenge. It's more, you got to keep your body warmed up. A little bit more of a challenge mentally, though, just making sure that you're still focused, not getting caught up in any of the distractions around you.
Marquez back on.
A little short on that handstand. Finishing it up. The pirouette to the double back. Quite a few steps back on that dismount. The Hornets will look to drop that score.
So we'll go back to vault, Alyssa Ito. A much shorter approach than we've seen from other gymnasts, as she will begin directly in front of us.
She has so much power, she doesn't need too much of a run. A beautiful Yurchenko layout full. She has a great body position throughout that entire vault. Should be a big score for the Aggies.
Hornets will go to Taylor Weber, another one of the freshmen who will be competing for the first time. Weber from Vancouver, Washington, just outside of Portland, Oregon. North Point Gymnastics is where she finished off her club career. Bounced around at a couple of clubs up there. Sacramento State historically has had success recruiting that Pacific Northwest area. Your class had a handful of them, including yourself.
Yes, we had 3 or 4 girls from Washington on the team. 3 all right from Vancouver, where Taylor's from.
Going back and before that, Kayla Boyce from Idaho, Melanie Greer from Idaho. The Hornets have had success, we said, up in that area. 9.625 the score for Ito. And Marquez comes in at an 8.725. So as you said, the Hornets will look to drop that score.
Taylor starts off with a big release move. You can see right away she has great form, beautiful toe point, just missing those handstands a little bit. She managed to get that last one. Finishes off with that mixed grip. It's very, very difficult. Right into a double back. Perfectly stuck landing. That's a great way to start your career as a freshman.
Very fast worker on bars as she bounced between skills rapidly. But he's had a good start. First collegiate routine in the book for Taylor Weber. Should be the highest score for Sacramento State so far on the event. UC Davis will go back on vault now, and coming down the runway is Courtney Cunningham.
Another Yurchenko layout full. Quite a big step back on that landing. But again, those layout fulls, a higher start value, you'll see a much higher score than those first few vaults.
Aggies have seen their scores rise with each gymnast so far through the first 4. We'll hopefully for them continue the trend with Cunningham. Sacramento State needs to close strong. Will be Bella Lamidi up next, freshman, and then Jordan Brent anchoring the lineup for Sacramento State once again. It'll be a 9.35 the score for UC Davis. So I saw the scores from across the country over the last couple of days, and they've been high, but West Coast judges historically have been tight. And
yeah, that seems a little bit low for that vault.
the vault numbers have been surprisingly low for both teams right now. Actually, the Cunningham score will be a little higher. It'll be a 9.525.
Back over to bars. Bella starts off her routine, big release combination. Strong start for the freshman, a little short on that final handstand. Winding up for her dismount. Full twisting, double back, stuck landing. 2 routines from freshmen, deep in the lineup. It's great to see them have such success.
The first freshman score is in. It's a 9.775 for Taylor Weber. That will tie her for first place in this meet.
Final vault from UC Davis, another big layout full, awesome body position through the air, just that hop back on the landing.
And so the Hornets will go to Jordan Brent to wrap things up as far as the competitors go. That was Cammie Johnson for the Aggies, as Dallas said. UC Davis currently at a 47.575. They have a low of 9.35. Remember, Sacramento State scored 47.85. So the Hornets a chance to make up some ground if they can hit this last routine from Brent. Waiting for the score on Lamidi. As we said, Weber with a 9.775. That will place her in a 3-way tie for first. And the score for Lamidi, a 9.725, so a good start for the Hornet freshman. Sacramento State now at a 47.25, but counting a low of 8.725 that they will like to drop.
Jordan is very strong on uneven bars. She starts with that shapash up to the high bar, bail handstand down to the low bar. Good handstand, just the dismount, full twisting double back, small step forward on the landing. Just the routine the Hornets needed to drop that score.
Cami Johnson had a 9.7. That was the high for UC Davis on vault. They wrap up at a 47.925, so I'll put them just above Sacramento State in that event by 3/4 of a tenth of a point. And now for the Hornets, they will await the score from Jordan Brent. Sacramento State currently down 1.5. They won't make that all up on the difference between Brent and Marquez, but the Sacramento State would hopefully pick up 3/4 of a point and give themselves a chance going into the last two events. Hornets will have an exhibition on bars. There'll be Amber Koth. Amber last season competed on vault, bars, and beam for Sacramento State. Her high on bars was a 9.675. And the score for Jordan Brent being dropped off, a 9.7. So the Hornets pick up nearly a full point. Will help close the gap. As through two rotations, UC Davis at a 96.625, Sacramento State at 96.075. So a much better rotation for the Hornets. Both teams under 48, however, on vault. And we said those are going to be some adjustments as the year goes on. The new scoring system, start values really limited both teams' productions.
Both teams building back into vaulting. Vaulting on the hard surface is the first time, aside from maybe an exhibition early in the preseason, that they're vaulting on that hard surface. Takes a little bit of time to get used to.
This is Amber Koth.
Again, just missing a little bit on each handstand. She's a very fluid bar worker. Very pretty to watch, finishing double back, lands with the chest just a little bit down.
So that will wrap up our second rotation. Halfway through, it's a close one. UC Davis 96.625, Sacramento State 96.075. Hornets go to beam, Davis to floor. We'll be back in a few minutes. This is Hornet Gymnastics on Pluto TV. A Final Four in that lineup, very experienced for UC Davis. They were one of the better teams in the MPSF last year on floor. The Hornets, a lot of new names over in that beam lineup, and it will be led off by Taylor Weber. And I know talking to the coaches earlier during the offseason, during training, Melissa Genovese, the Hornet beam coach who holds the school record, thought that by the time Taylor Weber was done, she will have beaten Melissa's record on beam, is what she predicted. And that's a pretty bold prediction considering it's, I believe, a 9.95 is the record off the top of my head. And so it's a lot of pressure to put on a freshman, but excited to see what she can do.
Absolutely. If her beam performance is anything like her bar performance, I think I would have to agree with Melissa on that prediction. She has such a dynamic presence to her gymnastics, very quick, very confident. That's exactly what the judges like to see on uneven bars and on balance beam.
The other five in the lineup, Marquez, Brent Couture, Breda Koth, all saw time last year for Sacramento State. And so Breda moves back to the 5th spot, which will be an interesting. Last year, she was the leadoff for most of the season for the Hornets and did quite well in that spot. Had a high last year on beam of a 9.85.
It is definitely a little bit different of a mindset going from that leadoff position to almost anchoring the lineup. You're used to warming up and getting up on the beam right away. No time for any thoughts to creep into your head. Now she has to adjust and stay focused, stay just present with herself and her performance throughout the entirety of the lineup.
Breda scored 9.8 plus in 4 meets last year, 3 9.8s in the 9.85. She is the highest score among returners on this team. So right now we'll go to Weber, who will get things underway.
Starts off with a beautiful front aerial, right to those little jumps. Every skill that you do in combination will add bonus points to your start value. That acro series, absolutely perfect back handspring layout step out. You see it right away, that confidence moving through her skills, through that dance quickly. Leaps, just a slight balance check. Finishing it off already with that side aerial back full. The smallest little hop back on the landing. That has to feel really good as a freshman to start off with this hit beam routine.
Interesting decision, though, to go first. A lot of times those scores out of that first spot are limited. Judges don't want to set the ceiling too high. Could hurt her. We'll see where she shifts by the end of the year in that lineup. Aggies will go with Petra Ingstrom to start off here on floor.
Petra is another beautiful gymnast to watch. I was watching her in warm-up. Her dance is so articulate.
Another freshman. This one from Encinitas.
A lot of times you see gymnasts, when they get to college, go for that really fun dance, engaging the audience. She chooses to stick with that beautiful classic look, showing off her toe point. Second tumbling pass. Round off half to that layout. Good routine to start things off for the Aggies on floor.
Hornets received a 9.775 from Taylor Weber.
That's a great score for that routine and also for that leadoff spot like you were talking about. Sometimes the judges don't reward that first routine. But this is a great way for the Hornets to build on that success through the next 5 routines.
Courtney Marquez now up.
Starting off her routine with her series. Back handspring, back layout. Just didn't finish with her chest quite high enough on the finish of that layout. Unfortunately, came off the beam. It's important after a fall to keep your mind right, to reset, check back in. You never know what's going to happen in the rest of the lineup, and you want to put up as big of a score as you can. Just the dismount left. A little bit unique. She does her switch leap into that front pike off the end of the beam.
Shannon Sklow will go second now for UC Davis on floor. Sklow, a freshman as well from Rancho Palos Verdes.
This routine is jam-packed with energy. She has so much personality. You'll see it right off the bat.
Waiting for her music to start. And now the judges are going to confer on floor. So still no score in from Petra Engstrom, and so that will bring the judges over to the table to talk about it. The score looked to be coming over from Courtney Marquez. Obviously that routine had a fall in it, so a mark the Hornets would like to drop. Sacramento State will stay in Northern California. Next week, the NorCal Classic. 2 o'clock start time over at UC Davis, the annual competition. Cal, Stanford, San Jose State, the Aggies, and the Hornets. Good to see all 5 teams back in this year after Cal did not compete last year in that one, electing to go to a school in the Southeast. And the Hornets back at home again, January 17th. A couple of Pac-12 teams coming to the nest, Arizona and Oregon State. A rare appearance for both those schools. In fact, I don't believe either one has competed here in over 20 years. And a chance to see them here at the nest. And then the Hornets will go back to Davis for a duel on the 26th. They don't get on a plane or travel outside of Sacramento or UC Davis until January 31st. An interesting start to the year. I know when you were here, chances you guys were up in Alaska, you're kind of all over the country, and the first 4 meets all here in Northern California.
Yeah, a little bit unconventional, but Sac State, as a university, is still on break for the majority of that beginning of the year. So it's very nice for the gymnasts just to be able to be at home, kind of give their minds a reset, focus on gymnastics for the first 4 weeks of the season. I think it gives them a chance to really improve, really grow as a team, create that team chemistry that is going to be so important as the season progresses.
Of course, the big news around the program, the Hornets will have a training facility coming in the next year or so near campus off Folsom Boulevard, and what a difference that will make for the Hornets is they have currently trained out in Elk Grove at a great facility out there, but a drive, depending on traffic, can take 45 minutes to an hour, and to have a facility that you can easily walk or ride your bike to, you can train at all sorts of hours, is going to be a big bonus for this program going forward. And you'll hear more about that always on hornetsports.com as different fundraising opportunities will be made available as Sacramento State, for the first time in program history, will have their own training facility, and that is big news for the program. So the score's been ironed out now with on floor.
Shannon starts off her routine not only with a big smile, but with a huge dance combination, that triple turn into the wolf fold, not easy at all. Goes right into a double pike. The crowd getting into it right away. This is exactly what college gymnastics is all about, having fun, getting to show off your personality. Gearing up for her second pass, a round off 1.5 front layout, big finish. Coach John Lavalley said that she was exactly like this in club. Even the fans in club gymnastics would always stop and watch this routine, and with good reason. It's great tumbling and quite the performance.
So Shannon Sklau, Aggies go freshman out of the gates. And now Jordan Brent quickly up on the beam for the Hornets.
A long time to wait for Jordan in between beam routines. She will also start her routine off with her acro series, back handspring to that layout step out. Good finish. Like to see those legs perfectly straight, toes pointed through both the skills. Switch leap to that back tuck. Another single skill, side aerial to the split jump, a little bit of a break in between those two skills. Judges really look for having your connections be nice and fluid. Just the dismount left. She will do that gainer pike off the front of the beam. Beautiful stuck landing. Great routine for the Hornets to get back on track on balance beam.
Still awaiting any score from UC Davis to be turned in on floor. They've had a couple of freshmen go. Now will be their returners, starting with Courtney Cunningham, the freshman of the year last year for the MPSF. We'll chalk it up to first meet jitters for the judges as well. So the scores are in. It's a 9.225 for Engstrom and a 9.625 for Sklau. And so some low marks as well to start this year.
Courtney Cunningham up now for the Aggies on floor. Starts out. Big punch, 1.5. A lot of great choreography from UC Davis right off the bat. on floor and on balance beam. You're not only judged on the skills that you perform, but on the way that you perform them, the composition of your routine. Beautiful 2.5. Steps out of that so gracefully. Big deep breath before her final tumbling pass. It'll be a front layout to a front full. A beautiful finish.
Good performance by Cunningham. Help get the Aggies back on track. Jordan Brent finished with a 9.55 for Sacramento State. And now will be Tara Couture. Couture last season, her high on beam just a 9.45. However, during her career, she has scored a 9.8.
Yeah, Tara is a beautiful gymnast. She has gorgeous lines, great extension. Definitely has the ability to score high. Unfortunately, comes off the beam. That full turn is a requirement. Gymnasts have to keep it in their beam routine. It can be a little bit trickier than it looks.
So Sacramento State will count a fall.
Back handspring layout, step out. Again, even with a fall, it's so important to keep a strong mental game. You never know what's going to happen in that lineup. You want to make sure you're setting your team up for the most success.
Melissa Genovese over to offer some quick words of encouragement.
A lot of times in this situation, you just get more frustrated with yourself than anything. Competing and flipping over a 4-inch balance beam is not easy in any situation. Just the dismount. She'll do a back handspring into a gainer layout full. Beautiful finish. Not the routine she hoped to start her season off with.
Gabby Landis for the Aggies up next.
Gabby starts off her routine with the round off 1.5 punch front full. Not an easy combination. Gearing up for her second tumbling pass. Round off straight to the double back. Just the 2 tumbling passes, getting that bonus that she needs throughout her routine.
lot of pressure coming up now for Kendra Bryda. The Hornets already knowing they're going to count a fall. And we'll try to limit the damage here on beam with Bryda and Koth.
The experience that Kendra has had in the past few years leading off on balance beam, I think really plays a big factor into this spot right here, knowing there have been some misses in front of you. You just have to keep that first up mentality, one routine at a time. She's very good at that. Strong so far. Beautiful acro series. A little low on those leaps. You want to see that front leg all the way extended. Judges are looking for perfect 180-degree splits in the air. Another unconventional dismount, that switch leap to the gainer layout full, but another good routine to hopefully get the Hornets back on track for the end of this rotation.
UC Davis will go now with Sarah Little. We will get underway on floor. John Lavallee with a half-joking remark, asking if the judges didn't need to confer before they could start their next routine.
Sarah starts off, beautiful 2.5. Something you'll see much more frequently in college gymnastics these days. Our gymnasts dancing out of their tumbling passes, dancing out of their leaps, just limiting any sort of deduction that the judges could take. Quickly on to her second pass. Double back, lands with her chest just a little bit low. Final tumbling pass. A front layout to the front full. Just undercut that first skill a little bit. Wasn't able to get the height on the second skill.
The score for Gabby Landis came in at a 9.675, but a huge separation between the judges. Judge 1 a 9.8, Judge 2 a 9.55. So I would imagine we'll have an inquiry on that mark to see if it will change, because typically when judges are off by that much, one person saw something the other one didn't, and always a risk it could go down. Big score for Kendra Bryda, though, for Sacramento State, a 9.775 for Bryda. And so that will definitely help. It will tie her with Taylor Weber for the team high and help offset one of the two falls the Hornets are counting. And now it's Amber Koth to anchor the lineup.
Amber starts off her routine with a big triple series. You don't see it too often in lineups anymore. It is a big risk, but she does it so gracefully. Beautiful leaps. slight balance check on that front aerial. The Hornets do a great job in this lineup. You see really confident dance moves, a confident presence. That's something that the judges look for. It's something that helps keep the gymnast's nerves calm. Finishing it up, back handspring to that gainer layout full, stuck landing, a big score for the Hornets to cap things off.
Good bounce back for Sacramento State. Knowing their backs were against the wall. And now Kelly Hebert. Davis will not have an exhibition, so this will be the final performance for the Aggies. The Hornets will see Peyton Gillen perform an exhibition on beam. And the final number coming in for Sarah Little, an 8.825, and so floor, much like vault, very tight. Obviously, Little, I did have the fall.
Kelly Hebert now on floor. Kelly's coming back from an injury. Coach John Lavalley said she hadn't even done a handstand 2 weeks prior to this meet, and here she is competing on 3 events. Not just competing, but absolutely killing it. That double pike was huge. Stuck landing. Second tumbling pass from Kelly. Round off 1.5 to that layout. Perfectly stuck. I think she's going for that 10-0. Final tumbling pass. Round off, back handspring, double tuck. A little bit of a hop out of that. I think that final tumbling pass was the only deduction I saw. Great routine from Kelly.
That will, in all likelihood, be the high score for UC Davis and possibly for the meet. A great performance from Kelly Hebert as expected. The Hornets got a 9.825 from Amber Koth, a career best for her. And Sacramento State, despite counting a fall, will finish with 48.075 on beam. And that's about as good as could be expected. And that 9.825 is the high for the team, followed by a pair of 9.775s from Taylor Weber and Kendra Breda. This is Peyton Gillen, the freshman with an exhibition.
Peyton with a really strong back handspring layout step out to start. Very difficult combination, that standing layout step out. It's an extremely difficult skill on balance beam. Switch leap to that straddle half. Again, it's really important keeping your legs straight, toes pointed, extending all the way through to that 180 degrees, stuck dismount. That was a great exhibition routine. Should give the Hornets a lot of confidence in their beam lineup.
The score for Hebert, 9.725, as the judges again prove very tight on floor. And Sacramento State, I believe, will take a lead into this final event. They will not, because my math isn't correct. Davis with a 3/10 lead, 144.45. Sacramento State 144.15. So it is in the air as we go to the final rotation. Sacramento State will go to floor. UC Davis will take their shot at the beam when we come back. Final rotation, Hornet Gymnastics here on Pluto TV. We go to the fourth rotation. Sacramento State, UC Davis in a close one, 144-45, 144-15. Aggies ahead by 0.3. However, there are 3 inquiries still out on floor. The Hornets had 1 on beam. That was ruled not to have changed. So their score will like it will be a 9.45 for Watley. Not be. Those are the start values. Will be a 9.225. Score is incredibly low today.
Low scores, a few low start values. Again, it's really important to do all of these combinations smoothly. You get deducted if things are not perfectly transitioned. That will come with time and practice throughout the year. A little bit shaky on that opening tumbling pass. It's a front Rudy. Front layout, punch front full. It's a new routine from Kendra for this season. One final tumbling pass. Round off to the double tuck. Unfortunately, didn't get enough height on that last tumbling pass. Has to put her hands down. It'll be at least a 3/10 deduction.
Up next on the beat for the Aggies, Gabby Landis.
Back over to balance beam for the Aggies. Up next is Gabby Landis. Starts off her routine with her leap combination. That back leg a little bit low. Quickly transitioning into her series. She will do back handspring layout. She was a little crooked from the start. Those two back handsprings a little off. Want to make sure your hips are perfectly square over that beam. Just like you see the stingers up in the Hornet floor routines, that double clap has been a UC Davis beam staple for quite a few years now. She was able to recover the end of her routine very well, stuck landing on the dismount.
So scores continue to be disputed by both teams. And we have another conference on floor. So Davis has had 3 inquiries on floor in their rotation. All 3 were adjusted up. Just conferring with head coach John Lavalley, and he feels another of those 3 will be readjusted because the math was wrong by the judges. The Aggie lead could continue to grow. Right now we have 2 scores in the books for UC Davis on floor, 9-4 on beam rather, 9-4 from Rachel Schulke and 9.75 from Cammie Johnson. The Hornets only have a 9.225 from Destiny Watley, and the Kendra Breda score will still be coming in. Tara Couture will be up next for Sacramento State.
Up next for the Hornets on the floor, Tara Couture.
And she will now step up.
just like on balance beam, Tara has great lines on this event, is able to show off her dance very well. Gearing up for her first tumbling pass. Here, round off, back to a double pike. Looks like she steps out of bounds. That'll be a 1/10 deduction. Shows great flexibility on her leaps. Definitely want to get more height, especially on that second skill. That punch Rudy to a straddle jump. Final tumbling pass from Tara. The front layout, front half. Big finish. Good routine from the senior. A great routine after that disappointing beam performance.
Yeah, good job by Tara Couture. Helped get the Hornets back on track. UC Davis will now turn to Sarah Little. Gabby Landis' score came in at a 9.05 during that performance. And on floor for the Hornets, Kendra Breida, 9.075. So both marks their teams would like not to have to count.
Beautiful back handspring layout step out. Interesting skill. A side aerial, but lands with 2 feet. Unfortunately, just didn't get quite enough height pushing off and has to come off the beam.
So it is a fall that will be counted now by Davis.
Wasn't able to hold on to that one as well. On those leaps, it's really important to keep your hips square over the beam. Spotting the end of the beam just looked like she lost track of where she was. Finishes strong with that gainer layout full, stuck landing, but Davis will have to count a fall now.
Next up on the floor for the Hornets, Alexis Belkov.
Score for Tara Couture, 9.35. So scores continue to be surprisingly low. College gymnastics season started on Friday night, and you see scores in the 196s, 197s, the same as usual for the powerhouse programs. And these two teams will be lucky to get to 192 tonight.
Alexis Belkov starting off her routine with a really strong double pike. Alexis has been such a consistent performer for the Hornets on this event throughout the years. Round off 1.5. To what is supposed to be a layout, she bent her knees on the end of it just to save that from a fall at the end. tumbling pass from Alexis. Will be a double tuck. Lands with her chest just a little bit low. You want to see those steps with the finish go behind you instead of in front.
Next up for UC Davis on the beam, Alyssa Ito.
So the official score for Sarah Little, an 8.35. That will bring Alyssa Ito, who is competing 5th in the lineup for the Aggies.
Alyssa starts off her routine with a big triple series, back handspring layout. Just a little unsure on that landing. Everything looked good, just maybe lacked a little bit of confidence on the finish. Comes off the beam. Good leaps. Again, as the season progresses, every gymnast gets more confident in their skills, confident in performing them under pressure. Just the dismount. Piked gainer, stuck landing. She finishes strong after that mistake early on in her routine.
So now we'll see Anna Leroy, one of the many freshmen to see action tonight. Leroy had an exhibition on vault during the first rotation, and this will be her first performance in the lineup. Coaches rave about her performing ability. Get a natural show win on floor.
Showing off her dance moves a little early, staying loose on the side.
Yeah, if she's nervous, you definitely can't tell. She will step onto the floor following a 9.4 from Alexis Belkoff, 9.425, from Alexis Belkoff.
Focus for her first tumbling pass, start off with a punch double full. That is an E-level skill, the hardest one you can perform. Has to make a quick change. That 1.5 should be to a layout step out. She does it to a back tuck. Final tumbling pass from the freshman. Be a round off whip back through to a double full. Just wasn't able to get enough height on that twist. Her knees touched the ground.
Is that just a stamina issue there? Is it under rotation? What would lead to that?
A little bit of both. That final tumbling pass, your first routine under pressure, you definitely are feeling it a little bit in terms of stamina, but then also I think she just got ahead of herself, rushed the skill.
We're going to go back over to beam. This is Kelly Hebert, the anchor for UC Davis.
Had a great meet so far. Starts off with that big triple series, absolutely perfect. The Aggies are very happy to have Kelly back. Beautiful leap series. Dismount, round off, 1.5, stuck landing. A huge score for Kelly is expected over on beam.
Kelly Hebert showing why she's the conference gymnast of the year. Another strong performance. And as you said, injured until just a couple of weeks ago, unable even to do a handstand, and coming back, and she will be a force to be reckoned with throughout this season. Anna Leroy, despite the late fall, still scored a 9.3 for Sacramento State.
Jordan Brent now for the Hornets on floor, anchoring the lineup, starting off with a massive double pike. Jordan is typically a very even-keeled gymnast, doesn't show a lot of emotion in practice, but she lets it shine on floor exercise.
A 9.9, the score for Hebert, and that will change things dramatically here in the overall standings.
Beautiful second pass from Jordan.
Aggies currently at a 191.8. Brent, the final performer for the Hornets, who trail now by more than a point, so it will be Davis that will come away with the win. Hornet low right now is a 9.075.
Jordan with her final tumbling pass. Double tuck, great finish.
So Sacramento State will get a boost in that score for sure, but it will not be enough as Kelly Hebert saves the day for UC Davis with a 9.9 beam routine. Davis had 3 gymnasts go down on beam, but Hebert rallies.
The 3 falls from UC Davis, very uncharacteristic for this beam team. First meet jitters.
This is the exhibition from Shanae Oishi. Hornets are also going to have an exhibition coming from Taylor Weber.
Beautiful scale over on beam, showing off the balance and the flexibility. It's very difficult. The leaps just back leg a little bit low on all of those splits. Just the dismount remains. Gainer pike, tries to hang on for that landing. Great way to get some experience in this first meet.
Jordan Brent with a team high 9.825 for Sacramento State. And so that will give the Hornets a 191.275. There are, as we said, a couple of inquiries out, so things could change. But right now, UC Davis will win by 0.525.
Taylor Weber finishing off things for the Hornets in an exhibition spot. Starts off with a nice, powerful double pike. Front handspring, layout, layout. Great landing. finishing off her routine with a back double full. A little bit awkward on that takeoff and landing. A nice introduction to floor exercise for the freshmen.
Yeah, you can see what the Hornets coaching staff likes among these freshmen. Some big performances today. We saw from Anna Leroy, obviously Taylor Weber in a couple of events. We saw Kelly McLeod and Bella Lamidi early on, and so there was a lot of talk about them coming in this season and having a big impact. And I think after you saw what you saw this afternoon, that as a whole, they have to be happy with the way the freshmen performed.
Absolutely. I was very impressed with the freshman performance today. It's not easy coming out here. It's your first college meet. You're a little unsure what to expect in a lot of different ways, and they were able to rein in those nerves and really use them to their advantage and perform at a high level.
So right now, the unofficial scores have UC Davis winning 191.8 to 191.27.